Hello Virgo, Archie Dunlop here with your daily horoscope for Monday, January the 15th, 2024. Today the moon does continue to move through Pisces, which is your opposite sign. So this does mean that relationships of all kinds can't be entirely ignored. The action is with the other person, the other situation. Whatever is not you, that is where the action is. So this might mean that you do have to accept that today you're not in full control. In many cases, it's going to be other people making the decisions. But, I don't think that should bother you because, when other people are making the decisions, it does take the pressure off you. Because, even if these decisions are the wrong decisions, if something goes wrong, then perhaps you won't have to take the blame. So that's not a bad thing. But I'm not saying things will go wrong. And it may be a day when you have to give people a certain amount of trust, but not total trust. I say that because yes, Moon's in Pisces, your opposite sign, and it is the moon is making conjunction to Neptune in your opposite sign. So moon conjunct Neptune can be a bit treacherous. It may be, for example, that someone close to you is doing something wrong, is on the verge of making a mistake. And so in that case, you obviously have to intervene. You have to intervene with great subtlety. Or you don't just say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you how to do it." No, you have to kind of subtly move them away from danger, move them away from making a mistake. The moon conjunct Neptune can also, in certain circumstances, indicate a situation where you're dealing with someone who is deceptive. Whether that's deliberately or it's just how they are, that's not really the point. Someone may, for example, tell you something that's simply not true. And that's going to be a particular danger if they're trying to sell you something. There's plenty of scope for deception. So you have to have your eyes open for that. But it may also be that you're dealing with people who are somewhat otherworldly. They might perhaps have a spiritual perspective. They may be able to look beyond the details. And of course, for a Virgo, that can be very important. Virgos are concerned about detail if they're true to their star sign. And so by interacting with people who couldn't care less about detail, who just are looking at the broad picture, might be challenging, but it might also be good for you. Now, another thing I should say, and I said the same thing to Gemini, is that there's a certain danger for some Virgos, probably a minority of Virgos, that you interact with people who are perhaps of dubious character, are not really to be trusted at all. At worst, they could have a fundamental criminality to them. So if you meet someone for the first time and your intuition suggests to you that they're not to be trusted, there's something wrong there, I would trust your intuition. But in most cases, that's not going to be not going to be an issue. Also, Virgo, Mercury, your ruling planet, it is now in Capricorn. It went into Capricorn over the weekend. Now it's gathering strength in Capricorn, and this does mean that you can you can be, for example, in a financial or business sense, incredibly creative from now on. Creative and sensible. You can find creative solutions to financial and business problems. And it's not about trusting other people. It's about using your considerable intellect and knowledge to work out what needs to be done. But you shouldn't be in a hurry. Mercury stays in Capricorn for some time, for a few weeks. So yeah, this is something that you can really work on, and I would recommend that you really see what you can do. Now, if you can't do it today, for example, if you're in the US, Martin Luther King holiday, whatever, maybe you've got other things to do. You're more concerned about relaxing, but tomorrow. That's when the sort of week starts in earnest. Of course, I'm in America, but I get confused about holidays, about US holidays still. I'm not completely familiar with how people really, really react to Martin Luther King Day. But I suppose it depends what you're doing, depends on what your job is. But whether you start work today or tomorrow, you can certainly do something extremely useful, and also extremely creative. One final point I should say is that in terms of relationships, some of the people close to you are very charismatic at the moment. You may suddenly notice how charismatic they really are, and in many ways they're going to be attractive and appealing, and they're going to have a lot to offer. So you might find that you're strongly influenced by particular individuals. You might feel a certain appeal to them. It's because of that. I suppose it's because of their charisma and attractiveness, and that could be very healthy. But bear in mind what I said: Moon is conjunct Neptune, so there is in Moon conjunct Neptune in your opposite sign of Pisces. So it just is that scope for being deceived by the wrong people. But that's just, I'm sure. I don't say I'm sure it won't happen, but it could happen. But I think if you're sensible, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, Virgo, thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.